How has your day-to-day routine changed in light of current circumstances?
I suppose, it has changed substantially from a political perspective. Obviously, I would have been on the road travelling the country and indeed going to Brussels and that. All that travel is over. It's teleconferences at the call of the day, and we're doing this by satellite, so to speak, this interview. So from that perspective, politically, it has changed radically. From a farming perspective, obviously, we have to keep social distance. That's absolutely critical. And, the bull tank driver, Willie, has to understand that Pat won't be going for a chat with him, and Willie doesn't want Pat to come for a chat. The same way with the meal lorry and indeed the feed or the fertiliser lorry. So, we talk to our neighbours. Yes, certainly you do. You talk to them from a distance. Talk to everybody that you meet, but from a distance. And I suppose that's the critical thing, that we keep our social distance.
And I suppose, with family farms, kids being at home from school, should there be more of an emphasis on the safety now more than ever, on farm safety?
Certainly there should, Sylvester. Obviously children are off now at this time of the year, and it's the start of the ice season. There's still story being spread, in some places for a later first quarter silage. A lot of activity, animals and light and machinery around the yard, and kids around the yard off school and out of creches, and all at home and extremely claustrophobic from being indoors. I suppose really what I would suggest is that farmers would allocate 15, 20 minutes in the day where they would stop their activities, bring out these younger kids in particular, and let them see the calves or the cows or whatever it is that's out in the air that they want to see, and do it in a safe environment. Equally, I suppose people need to be careful that your young teenagers are sufficiently trained in how to operate machinery, because we were all young and had to drive tractors and that. And, it's critical that they know how to do so, and that the machines are safe, and that the terrain they're driving is safe. Because, in fairness, we've had very fine weather. Kids have been off school and off college, and there's a lot of work being done at the moment on farms. So that's the one positive out of COVID-19. But from a safety perspective, we need to keep our finger on the pulse. The silage season is just around the corner. The kids that were usually in school will be at home. And we need to take precautions, necessary precautions. It's not up to the contractor, while they have a significant part to play, both themselves and their drivers. The yard should be a safe working environment for those machines when they come in.
I suppose between falling commodity prices, current restrictions, the isolation, it's all kind of putting extra pressure on farmers. Is this having a negative impact on farmers' mental health, do you think?
Well, look, I suppose a lot of farmers were used to social isolation, and some of them, it would have been highlighted in the past that it was extremely difficult with the closure of rural pubs, and that this is slightly different in that there's a request out there, a demand that we all social distance. So I think for farm families, it's probably easier to social distance than for others. Nonetheless, we do need to keep in contact with our neighbours. We have mobile phones and our friends. We have mobile phones, and there's various modern technologies other than mobile phones, Skype and everything else to do that. Equally, we've seen markets under pressure, and we saw the first of those price cuts, with a 2 cents a litre cut for March milk, and ICMSA felt that was excessive. We could fully understand that the market was under pressure, but 2 cents for March milk, March that was very expensive for milk production, was a step too far. Obviously, there's going to be further challenges on April price and May price. So, come the autumn, there will be financial implications to where milk markets are, given that Dutch quotations were at 33 cents a number of weeks ago, and now they find themselves a lot nearer to 23 cents. We as an association would have been in teleconferences with AIB and Bank of Ireland, lobbying that flexibility needs to be put in place with financial commitments in the months ahead, given where milk price is going. Obviously, the beef sector, we're in turmoil. It's only a rollover from 2019, albeit COVID-19. There are huge challenges out there. The price of cattle at a 10-year low. We've seen that reflected in store and calf sales in recent times. So, there will be a lot of pressure, Sylvester. It's fair to say that it may not be fully on farms yet, but it's coming. And, the liabilities or the various different financial commitments that have to be met on a farm on an annual basis, whether it's the second lot of grass or the tax for last year or whatever the case may be, on maybe a payment on a machine, a very, very necessary machine, they will all have to be dealt with in the coming months. And what I would say to the farm families out there is, don't stay in financial isolation. Talk to your institution early, or indeed contact us through John Feely House, and we will liaise, because the financial institutions, it's in their interest that farm families stay afloat in order for them to do the business into the future.